today's video. Today we are checking out the top 10 of my favorite premium Spigot resource plugins for 2019. These are ones that are like the most popular, the most being bought, the best ones that I've found around. So why don't we start? Number one for me would be Lightbands. It's a all-around punishment plugin that a lot of servers use. It has over 6,000 total downloads, which is quite insane. It's a premium plugin, so all these are premium plugins. There's another video releasing later this week that goes over my favorite free plugins. This episode's all my favorite premium plugins, which do cost money, but they are very well updated, and they're very updated a lot, so it's very good. So the first one I have here is Lightbands. It has web interfaces, it's bands, everything, so it really is like all around. I even have a add-on plugin for this called Lightbands GUI. You can find in the description of this video under plugins, but you can see even the Spigot page is like all the way, and it's all 5-star reviews pretty much, except for this guy who doesn't know what he's doing, but it's very nice. It looks amazing. It works perfectly fine. I've never run into an issue with it, and if there was any issues, it would be fixed right away, so it's really good. I highly recommend it. Great for punishments. Even the update logs are pretty large. I mean, when he updates stuff, it's pretty big update stuff, so it is pretty impressive on what he does here, and it's really cool. So my second one coming up is the Ultra Permissions. This is my permissions plugin I go to anytime I need to suggest one to anybody. The reason for this is it's GUI based and command based, so you could either pick either way you want to do it, and it's very easy. So pretty much everything's done in GUIs if you really want to. There is so much you can do, and obviously the reviews are amazing for this. You can set up Bungu code permissions and Spigot on one GUI and configure them all from in-game, and it comes with prefixes and suffixes and tab and everything. Works amazing. I've never run into an issue with this either. Very good. Very good. I highly recommend it. It's very popular. I always recommend it to my buyers whenever they need a plugin for permissions, because I've never had an issue with it. It is so easy to do. They have all these pre-made permissions here too as well, which is very easy to do, so I highly recommend it. Now coming up next is Pro Cosmetics by File14. I actually know File. I used to work in his Discord server for quite a while, so he's done an amazing job with this. It's pretty much, you can have all the cosmetics, and he's constantly working on it too, so it makes it really cool. You can see there's so much you can do. There's arrow effects, there's banners, there's balloons, death effects, emotes, gadgets, miniatures, morphs, mounts, music, particle effects, there's pets, there's treasure chests, like Mineplex there. There is so many. It's very good. It is premium, just like all the plugins here, but it does have a bunch of commands. It even has an API, which lets you hook into your own stuff into the plugin, which is pretty cool. And their support is amazing. You can see the reviews is also very amazing, just like all the rest of them we've seen today. It's fully fixed, and I haven't had no one, as far as I know, the support's been amazing. I used to work in their support Discord, so it's been updated quite a lot, and it seems to work amazingly well for a cosmetics plugin. Way better than any of the free alternatives. There are free alternatives, but I don't think any of them come anywhere close to beating what Pro Cosmetics brings to the game, since the customability of this plugin is amazing. Coming up next, we have Featherboard, which is one of the main ones on Spigot. You'll hear about Featherboard all over the place. It's like the premium scoreboard plugin, which if you can afford, you're going to buy, because it has the most stuff. It's made by this guy, Max, that guy. I can never say his name right, but it's made by him, and it does a lot, quite a lot. Obviously, its performance is absolutely amazing, so this is pretty cool. I mean, don't you think? If you could do this on a scoreboard in a Minecraft client, I think your scoreboard's pretty steady here. So it's pretty nice. It has every single option. The APIs for this, like, there are some requirements, like 1.8, you can only have 15.1 lines and stuff, but currently, you can have, with Anti-Flicker version 3, which is currently out, it supports all scoreboards, lines 1 through 5, and then the title width can be 32, so he keeps improving it as much as you want. And the higher go up, 1.13, you can put as many characters in there as you want. 1,024 characters. That's pretty cool. So the limitations is the red numbers on the sides can't be removed. It doesn't support all other plugins and stuff like that. Protocol changes could break it too. But overall, it can trigger events. It has everything. So obviously some people don't know how to use it, but the rest of them are pretty 5-star ratings. I've used this for a long time as well. It's very easy. It supports protocol lib. It supports pretty much everything. The placeholders itself, you have thousands of placeholders, and this is just for his custom placeholders. Then you have placeholder API and everything. So you can also make your own custom placeholders by using this class here into that. Next up, we have factions UUID. This is the updated factions of Massive Craft, or whatever you call it. It is open source, I believe. I believe this is open source. Last time I checked, I think. Yes, there is a public source code link here, which means it's amazing. If you open source premium plugins, it does help the developers a lot, but mostly the reason why I enjoy Factions being open source is because Factions is so big, there's so many things you can do with it. I'm happy that they allowed an open source. It is a paid plugin if you'd want the jar file, or you can just compile it yourself, but I highly recommend supporting developers and actually buying the plugin, because that means a lot to them, and it can help them out. Up next is UltraCustomized, made by the same person who made Ultra Permissions. This is where if you want to change all the messages inside your server to be one format, you can do this. You can edit any message in your chat, construct your own GUIs, make your own scripts in the chat, so when you do something, it does something else, and make your own commands. It's way simpler than going through every single message file of every plugin to do it. It's right there, it's easy, and you shouldn't have any issues with it. It's pretty easy. I highly recommend it if you want something to customize your server with. Coming up next is CraftShop Plus. This is like one of those minigame things where it adds guns to Minecraft. It is updated a lot. It's also made by the people in Cube Development, not File, but another one. But it does require CraftShop, like the default. The reason why it's called Plus is because it adds a bunch of stuff. It adds all these extra things. So if you want like resource packs or skins or all of this stuff, this is what you do. I recommend it if you're running like a Battle Royale server, or if you want something like PUBG, this is the plugin to go to. I highly recommend it. I've used it. I haven't used it myself, but I've known people who've used it and they say it's great. So amazing job by that. Coming up next, it's Animated Names. It's made by the same person who made Featherboard. Animated Names puts these things above the player, obviously, on tab as well. That's the test again. So if you want to disable this, you can disable it, but I don't. I like it. It has all this on the top and everything. It has all the placeholders from the other plugins, so it hooks directly into all your other plugins. Obviously, the config is quite long and has a bunch of stuff you can do. The permissions here. I highly recommend it. You could set your name tags for ranks. You could do anything you want. So it's like mod that, how many times you played, how long you've been online. You can pretty much do anything because of the placeholders. Always add placeholder API to your plugins. I highly recommend it. Up next, we have Paintball. This is a plugin I got a long time ago that I haven't played recently, but it's still very popular. It's full of features. I mean, seriously, it has 55-star reviews and over 14,000 lines of code. It's amazing. He's done quite a lot of stuff. I was one of the first people who bought this, and there's been so much added since, and I've had so much fun in the past with this. It's highly easy, very nice to play. It even has an API which you can hook into, which is cool, and an FAQ, and all of this, so it's quite easy. And then only one bad star review in the last like month or so, so that's pretty good. It has So you know it's legit. It has 616 total downloads. It's almost fully 5 stars, 56 4.5 star reviews, and it's really cool. So highly recommend going and checking that out. Coming up next is a SyncWorld Edit Premium. This is like the premium version of the World Edit. So if you don't want there are free versions of other, like a SyncWorld Edits. It's right here, a SyncWorld Edit. But this is the premium version. The reason I recommend the premium version is it's easier. It's easier. So it pretty much has a bunch of stuff to everything. The way this works is the free version is released only as the source code, so you have to compile it yourself. The paid version, the jar is here, so you can get the jar, and that's pretty much it. It gives you the jar, so you don't have to compile it yourself, and it gives you support. If you use the free version, you're not going to get support. If you use the paid version, you get support. It has pretty much everything. It allows you to do anything. Great star reviews like normal. It's quite easy. And coming up next is Redis Bungu. This is a bonus plugin I'm adding to this list because I've used it in the past. It doesn't have the best reviews, but it is good. If you need multiple Bungu instances, this is more like for major networks and people who have like 100 servers, because you don't need anything else. It uses Redis to create 2 or more Bungu proxies that connect to each other, so you could have like a us.noodleplex.net and an eu.noodleplex.net or something like that, and it would work just like that. So it's quite easy. You can see it's not the best reviewed plugin. There are a lot of 5-star reviews. There is a very long FAQ if you want to go over it and see how it works, but you do need Redis, you do need a few things in order to make this work, so it's not the best plugin for people who are just starting off. This is a good plugin for if you've been running a network for a long time and need multiple instances of things. This is the one to go to. That is my list for the top 10 plugins of 2019 of paid, for my opinion. This is all my opinion. This has nothing to do with anybody else's opinion. If you have any suggestions for plugins you would like me to review on the channel, please leave them in the comments below, because I would be very up to reviewing those. I'm sorry if I've been a little quieter today than I normally am. I just woke up and I'm very tired, so, going with this. But this is my list for the 2019 year. The free version of this plugin, the video, will come out next week, most likely, where I go over the top 10 free plugins that I recommend in 2019. Those would be the plugins that are free to download on Spigot and MCM, while these are just paid plugins on Spigot. So, there you go. Hopefully you did enjoy. If you want to see the free plugin video, make sure to leave a like on this video. It'll come out next week, most likely. We have a lot of plugin tutorials and plugins that we actually make ourselves. Those are available down in the comments. Down in the description. I didn't add any of those to this video because they're not paid, but if you want to take a quick look, it's just BGHDDevelopment on Spigot. We have a lot of them. We have quite a lot. So, there you go. Enjoy. I'll see you guys in the next plugin tutorial video tomorrow, and then the free version of this Spigot Top 10 next week. Goodbye.